Wait, what? 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 Where? Whoa, 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 whoa. What's going on? What? Huh? Why? Where'd all my... Oh, that's right. That's because, I've been moving them down here. Would you look at that? I'm finally using my subterranean, things. I still don't know what they're called. I'm calling them pods. I think that's what I'm doing. Anyway, hello, my name is Chuck Ross, and we're playing Minecraft on the Java Co server. And today, oh man, I'm gonna do something that I've been meaning to do for a long time. Aside from just moving all of my stuff down here. Today, we are finally taking care of the decorations around this little beach area. Now you might say, yeah, but you already did that. You have like 19 palm trees and a couple of sand dunes. But no, I need to bring all of that life around the areas where the houses are. I also need to fill in all of these very large gaps of just nothing. So that is what we're doing today. So what I need to do is a couple of things. I need to get the road situated. I need to add a couple extra sand dunes around, definitely on the smaller side, but I do need a couple more. And then I need to bring all of that brush into the foreground. I need to bring it into the space where people are living to make it feel, you know, used and not just incredibly clean. I think I'm gonna do dunes and roads at the same time. I think that's the way to do it. I also found a couple of cartographers and got them to give me an idea of where some trial chambers are. So hopefully I can go there and mine them for all they are worth. And while we're here, I know this is kind of early, but you know, maybe consider subscribing if you like what I do. And leaving a like and all that. That'd be nice. Anyway, let's get to it. So the sand will not be a problem. I still have plenty left over. From here, however, I will need to decide what I want the roads to be. So we have a couple of different options here. We can go with the OG road that we used when we were on the Bedrock server, which was the Wild Coast. We have this little town square area that I built. Not exactly a road design itself, but we can take inspiration from it for sure. We have the road in front of the mailbox, which is very nice. A little too dirty for a beach, though. We have the path that Skye made for the wheat farm, although, again, a little too much dirt, and although, I don't know, the path blocks might look kind of cool in the sand. I'll give it a try. And then over here, we have the mud blocks that Skye used for her path. Now, she's using the packed mud bricks, and then those smooth ones are actually mushroom, which is a really nice touch. So my plan from the beginning of actually deciding to put a road through here was to have it connect from the town to my area, then to Skye. So I think trying to get a blend between the two would be good. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to pull that off yet, though. But it is a plan. So I think the path block will probably be kind of in between the sand and the stripped oak. I think it's going to be closer to the stripped oak. Yeah. Not a bad look, though, honestly. I could definitely deal with it. That's pretty good. So the first option we have is going with what we've already used over here and just using that as the main path, which is a very good option. I might go a little bit more structured, so less run over with the sand. I think I might try to go a little bit more maintained, I think. The other option, of course, would be to go birch. The same exact idea, the same exact concept, just slightly lighter, which is also pretty good. I wish it stood out a little bit more, but, you know, if you think of it more like sun-bleached, like it's been there a long time, so the color has almost completely been bleached out just by the sun, it's not a bad idea. Next up, we have jungle wood, which, I gotta be honest, I kinda like it. It's not a block that I've used in any of the houses so far, and it's got such a good contrast compared to everything else that I'm kinda leaning towards it, I'm not gonna lie. And then we have white oak. White oak? No, it's pale oak. Pale oak, I thought I'd just throw out there since I'm going with lighter woods, so I figured I'd give it a try, but yeah, that's not happening. Now, the other one that's absolutely not happening is bamboo. I really thought this would look better than it does, but man, it is not working for me. Now mud, I am really liking. That one, pretty good. Pretty good. And a little bit of a explanation of what I'm doing here. I know that I'm going to use one block as the main block, and then I'm going to use a second block as the accent, and then I'm going to use a third block as like a very occasional accent. So it's going to be main block, texture, accent, I think is the best way to put that. So what I'm doing is, especially moving into the non-wood blocks, I'm starting to use, it's going to be a lot more obvious which ones are going to be the texture and then the accent. So that's why I'm doing it this way. They all have the same pattern like that. Yeah, nope. Endstone, man, where can you even use this? Tough, on the other hand, is kind of in the wrong direction. It's too dark. Overall, it's good. I mean, it's tough. It's like one of the best blocks they've added in a long time, but it's just too dark. Now, on the other hand, stone is pretty good in the middle, I gotta say. And assuming that I'm going with just a solid path of, just one block type, stone is not a bad one. Jungle wood is surprisingly pretty good. Mud is good for sure. Even just regular oak. That got a couple of pretty good options here. So I'm standing up here on Rob's lighthouse, and I'm kind of trying to figure out the layout that I want to go for the road itself. And I think that'll kind of help me decide which direction I'm kind of leaning towards. So as of right now, I actually don't want the road to ever come in front of a house, or I should say, I never want the road to come between the house and the water. I think that's a good rule, because that's like literally the beachfront property. You wouldn't want the road to come up and interrupt your scenic view. I think right off the bat, we're going to say this road, while it might come here, I don't think I'm going to let like a main road come up to the front of this house. I might change my mind on that. We will have to see. Let's see. I think the main entrance is going to be past this dune, up and over here, and then it's going to come down. Maybe I'll do a little town circle here. That might be fun. I don't know. And then that can branch off to the different houses respectively. And then that can kind of continue through here, down here a little bit, behind the house, and then up this way over to Skye's base. I think that's the way to go. And pretty much right after that last clip, I got sick as a dog. So I'm just going to do a voiceover for this part. So here I am, kind of cutting around the sand so that I can kind of leave it around where I want it. Here we are cutting into the beach. I'm now kind of going through and leaving some pathways, just sort of marking out where I want them to reach the houses themselves. And yeah, that was not too bad. Unfortunately, because of how sick I was, I didn't make nearly as much progress as I thought I was. Here I am going through and removing the road around the first beach house I built because I wasn't sure if I wanted to leave it there at all. But what I did know is that even if I did do it, I wanted to center it between those two houses. So I'm filling it back in so that I can count between them and then decide if I want to put the road there at all. Here I am removing the little original road cones that I had put up. And now I'm marking it out. Look at that. Look at me. I'm so smart. Counting to like 13 or whatever. So that's going to be the center of the road. And when I pull that out, I know I'm going to make the roads about 3 wide each. And that's going to be pretty much consistent. It's just an easy number to go, honestly. It's kind of the smallest path I would do. I wouldn't do a 2. Now, this part was fun. Marking out where I wanted it on the side of a hill was kind of difficult to do. It was not exactly the most fun. Fill in that pond because that's going to be in the way in a minute. I then bring the path down kind of between these two. I'm going to mark out the distance as well. And here I am filling in the sort of patio section. I didn't at first consider this part of the road, but it kind of ends up fitting along with the rest of the architecture. But yeah, that was fine. Filling out where I think the road is generally going to be. I'm going to come back in and do a whole lot to it, but first I just want to get it down so that I can get a general idea of what it's going to look like. Now I'm filling out all the rest of those and kind of rounding off the corners because I wanted the path to feel kind of organic as far as when it was made. It was pretty purposefully put where it was. That doesn't make any sense. What I mean is that I wanted the path to feel round and not very structured. And now we're finally getting to texturing. I do basically the thing that I always do, which is like a kind of J shape and then like a V shape, and I kind of alternate between those two. There are other little patterns in there, or where I'll just do like 1 or 2 logs kind of next or catty corner to each other. And then also just kind of flipping them up on the end to make it a little bit more interesting. And here I am trying to make a slanted, sloping street. Which, it took more brain power than I had at the time because I was breathing just through my mouth. And even that wasn't going terribly well. At this point, I'm just kind of trying to figuring out where everything's going to go on this like halfway up the hill kind of thing, which ended up going okay. I'm definitely happy with how it turned out for sure. So here I'm deciding that I'm actually going to break up the sort of sand barrier around the street with sections where you can kind of see that it's almost like a boardwalk, but not exactly. So you can kind of see underneath it, and making sure that when you can see underneath it, you can't see the dirt under there. So that was easy to do. It also just kind of makes the path a little bit more interesting. It kind of just breaks up the symmetry of just all of the sand all the way up to the edge and, you know, brings the wood color down a little bit more. I did have to slightly alter the curvature of this hill a little bit because of the size of the path, but I think it turned out pretty good. And now here, I'm actually bringing the beach a little bit more into the road, just to kind of, again, break that up a little bit more, and then also bring, just like I said, the beach into the road. Not too much. I do still want to keep, obviously, the road there, but I do want to kind of bring the sand up a little bit, just to break up the very strict pattern of the road itself. What's also kind of fun is that, especially in the longer, straighter sections, to me it reads as the path is being covered up on kind of either side, but I could also see that if you're looking at it in a different context, it might actually look like the path is kind of winding around, just very slightly, and I think that's a nice little touch. And because that's the way that I work, I tend to do the bulk structure first and then come in and do all the details. So I'm actually going back in and adding in all the logs for the section that I just finished putting up. Yeah, this long straight section here, I especially think kind of looks like it could either be winding or the sand is covering it, but I don't know, I like it a lot. And the brick beach abode sidewalk did not go well. Again, I'm just going to lean on that excuse so hard. I was very sick and tried probably 3 or 4 different things. Some didn't even make it into the video because it was just like, what am I even doing here? I'm just making a road. Let's just do that. So eventually I tear all of this out and just replace it with the same road that I built everywhere else. And I think it ended up looking pretty good. I think matching the rest of the area was probably the right choice. And I know I broke the rule that I talked about of wanting the road to never come in front of the beach houses, but it just kind of worked better that way. And now I'm finally going back to finish the main road that meets up to my area. And here in a second, you can hear from Still Sick Chuck about his ordeals, his trials and tribulations so far. So have fun listening to that, will you? What the heck? I was doing stuff, thought I heard pillagers, and then I don't know how they even got in there, but they've killed all my guys. What? What the heck? Well, that's great. There goes my mending guy. So, between the last clip where I was talking and this one, you can probably tell from my voice, but I got sick, and it's not been fun. The first day, I thought maybe it was just like, I don't know, the particles in the air or something. Like it was either bad pollutants in the air or something like that. But no, it's just bad. So yeah, here I am, and I've been trying to do stuff, but also the brain fog has been pretty thick as well. But I have managed to at least get the paths down. So let's take a look at that. Yeah, I'm very happy with those. I ended up deciding to go ahead and continue the regular wooden path all the way around. I kind of went back and forth a couple of different ways. Like I thought about maybe making like a little patio section for them, but it just didn't feel right. So I just decided, you know, if I want to change it later, I can. But as of right now, I just wanted to look continuous. So that's what I'm doing. I also went ahead and connected the road from the main village to my little area. So let's take a look at that. Man, every time I'm like, man, my voice doesn't sound too bad. And then I start talking, I was like, oh, yeah, it's pretty rough. But yeah, so I have this. I want to get rid of you, which I think the easiest way would be to just do that. Cool. So we got this path here. I think what I'm going to do is, you might have seen, I think I'm going to come over, I think just the 2, and then do like that, kind of like a tiki torch, kind of not. But, you know, it's kind of close enough, I think. There we go. But yeah, so it comes down here, goes up to this house, comes down this way, splits off to those 2, and then comes this way, up this way to this part of that house again, down to those 2, over here. I decided to bring this out a little bit rather than making the path itself go straight here. I figured maybe they'd have like a little entryway that you could get to their place from. It was either that or bring it down here and then bring the path down to meet basically in front of that door there, which I decided that's probably the easier way to go. So I also brought it all the way around here, and now I just need to figure out how to tie it in to Skye's area. But overall, I'm very happy with how that's come out. It's very nice. It really finally starts to tie it all together, because before it was just a couple of buildings just sort of, you know, splattered around. And what it also has shown me is that I have a place for another house, or maybe even 2, or something else. I don't know. I have an idea, but with my voice the way it is now, it's not the time to do it. So I'm going to get some of the tiki torches down around the pathing, and I'll be back. Well, I am finally feeling most of the way better. I would say probably about 75%, maybe a little bit more. Man, that was rough. uh, I thought I was going to be okay, and then I started talking for that last segment that I actually talked for. And yeah, it was like, as the time went on, I was like, oh, this sounds terrible. Ugh. And it hurt. You know, it's just bad. But I am very pleased with how this is turning out. It's definitely not as much progress as I would have liked, but with what I've done, I think the change is actually more drastic than I expected just the roads to be. But I do still have to go through and add a whole bunch of other stuff, like a little bit more sand dunes here and there, some beach decorations like beach chairs, umbrellas, things like that. And I don't know, maybe like little changing areas, that might be fun. I know I'm going to build a tiki bar somewhere. I just don't know where. I feel like here is actually a good spot, as well as kind of over there between these two houses. I don't know. I honestly, all the way over here might be a decent spot as well, since that is a pretty wide open area. I could throw another house here. I don't know. It's at this point, I'm just trying to figure out how much I can cram into this area before it's like time to, wash my hands of it. But man, it's looking so good. I imagine if I update this block. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. I might leave the rest of those there for now then. We'll do that. But yeah, so I've got this giant area. I could do a couple of houses. I could do one house. I could do like townhouses. That doesn't feel terribly nice beach area. Maybe this could be something. I had an idea, but it was when I was sick, and I've slept since then, so I have no idea what it was, which is unfortunate. Let's take a nice little nighttime stroll down the roads. And by the way, everything here is lit up to the, to the point where monsters won't spawn. There is I can't remember what it's called. The mini hut, that's what it is. And basically it's like, it will show you where torches need to go. It took a minute to figure that out, but I'm also not exactly the most tech savvy, so going through all the menus didn't quite get it. But yeah, so we go through, we're walking down this street, down this road. Maybe I'll name the streets at some point. That'd be fun. I will try to run past before the mobs do. Oh, look, so pretty. We got the beach area, and oh, so much sand. And then all of a sudden, you're in a beach town, and the path changed. And then you're walking through. There's going to be something here eventually. Got the first house there. Come down, you can go that way. It takes you all the way around here. And a loop all the way around. This was annoying. I was sick just trying to do something to this area. And is that... Okay, yeah, that's shaved. Okay. But yeah, it was just... Ugh. Because I was sick, I'm going to blame it on that. Because I was down with a sickness, I just could not for the life of me get something to work. Oh no, did I kill the cow? Oh, that sucks. But yeah, so that area gave me such a hard time. So I just decided to take the main road all the way around it, which I think looks fine. I decided to put this one back because it just kind of looked weird having it go out these steps and then just like a bare section in the middle. I could put something else there, and I might later. I'm not entirely sure. But I have so much space up front, that it really doesn't feel necessary to put something right up against the balcony there. And then up here, we have this entrance now, which I'm mostly happy with. It feels a little awkward, so I kind of wish I had done something different. And I might have to change it eventually. And then we come up here, and then it slowly fades away, because I have yet to actually connect it to Skye's area. Oh, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I think I'm doing this section like most of the way through the editing process, but I know the way that I edit it is probably very different than normal, so hopefully you guys didn't hate it. It is kind of surprising just how much difference that path makes. It really does just feel like everything's tied together now. Anyway, I'm going to sign off. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Chuck Ross, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.